Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the IIPM talk show. This is our third episode, and today we will be talking about crisis leadership. As a professional, we need to tackle many crises in our professional life and personal life. As a leader who will be leading a team or an organization, he needs to have the technical skills that will help him to create an enabling environment inside the team and inside the organization or company to be able to lead the team in a crisis situation. So today I will be talking about 6 points that will help you to lead a team or an organization or a company in a crisis situation. So during a crisis situation, we need to know 6 vital points. Number 1, what is a crisis leadership? What makes a crisis? Means what is a crisis? Then what an effective crisis leader does. What is his duty during a crisis when he will be leading a team? Number 4 is how to prepare for and prevent a crisis. Number 5, how to respond. Number 6, how organizations can learn and grow from crisis. So my first point is, what is crisis leadership? How could we define this? Crisis leadership is the leadership, how a leader deals with an unpredictable situation that can threaten the activity or operation of an organization or of a project. It can be an organizational crisis, it can be a public crisis, it can be a crisis in terms of war, fighting, conflict, and many other things. So when we can call a situation a crisis situation, a crisis situation is a difficult and dangerous situation that needs serious attention. And crisis, let me give some example of crisis. A crisis can be a natural disaster. It can be an epidemic like this COVID pandemic. It can be a cybersecurity attack. Maybe my computers of my project or my company can be hacked by some hackers. So crises are really wide-ranging, and a crisis leader have to have preparation to tackle any situations in any difficult moment. So how can we lead a crisis? For that purpose, we need to understand crisis management and crisis leadership. Crisis management is a very short-term response to a crisis. Suppose this is COVID-19 crisis is happening now, and maybe we are taking 2 to 3 years to manage this crisis. But crisis leadership is about long-term planning in terms of having a crisis plan, a response plan, at the same time acquiring necessary skills to lead the crisis team. The second part of my presentation is understanding the different phases of a crisis. Crisis happens in different phases. For that reason, we need to have a thorough evaluation of the risks that can happen within the organization and outside the organization. Also, we have to have preparation for emergencies. And it's true that a survey said 62% crisis can be managed with leadership if there's a crisis response plan. So, and if we have a crisis response plan, then we could respond. How could we respond to a crisis? Number one step is implementing the crisis response plan and getting in touch with the team members. Because if you don't implement your crisis response plan and if you don't communicate this response plan with your team members, you cannot manage the crisis. Then crisis is really tough. It brings tension, depression, frustration within the team members and outside the team. It can bring extra pressure. So, what can we do? We need to be calm, quiet, and we must stay optimistic. And we should keep our team members optimistic too. Then we have to show empathy to the team members and to organization, to our project that is hampered and burdened by newly arrived crisis. And also we have to have an effective communication among the team members and within the organization, within the company and outside the company too. Then how can we lead the teams during a crisis moment? We need to do 5 very simple things. Number one, we have to inspire the team members and other staff members to keep inspired. Then we have to have decisions. Decisions that is taken on the basis of thorough discussion with the team members and as per the response plan. There can be some changes, but still now we have to take decision and we have to quickly implement the decision as per plan. Then we have to have an adaptive management style that will allow us to adapt with the comments and suggestions from the team members or from the customers or beneficiaries or other stakeholders of the project or of the company. Then reliability. Reliability in terms of ourselves. We have to be reliable to our team members and to the company and organization. At the same time, we have to prepare our team member to be reliable. So reliability is the thing that is need to be harvested among the leaders and also among the team members. Then empathy. Yes, empathy is very important because crisis moments bring challenges, frustration, depression, and many other traumatic situations can prevail during a crisis. And we can only deal with the crisis if we have an empathetic approach towards the team members and other people who are engaged with the project or the company or any other sector or scheme. During a crisis, a wonderful thing happens. That is, crisis really teach us something. Every crisis teaches you something new learning. And what can we do is we have to record the learning from the crisis and we have to preserve this learning for future and you have to implement it in future if any other crisis happens or to take preparation, prior preparation for any other probable crisis in future. And In a crisis situation, open communication and active communication with proactive approach is very much important because everybody is burdened, everybody is frustrated. Nobody knows what can happen. For example, when the COVID crisis started in 2019, nobody knew that what could happen in their future with their jobs and with their family members, with their dearest ones and nearest ones. But what helped us is communication, using the communication tools and having an active communication with family members, with team members, and with others. In summary, for my point two is leading through a crisis is more than managing unusual events. Number two, plan for different situations. We have to have plan. Number three, communication with all stakeholders is important. Number four, be productive and proactive rather than reactive. We cannot react because everybody is frustrated and depressed. Number four, look at the crisis as an opportunity to learn, grow, and transform. And we have to implement that learning in future. As a leader, crisis is really a make or break moment. If you can manage the crisis, yes, you could make something new. If you cannot handle the situation, yes, you are breaking apart. So this is an opportunity to learn many things and to implement the learning for future. Like this pandemic has taught us many things. And this pandemic taught us how to be alive during a crisis, how to tackle misinformation, disinformation, how to deal with the frustration that has been brought by the bad news of death, bad news of being affected with coronavirus, bad news of being homeless, being jobless, being out of food stock, and being even affected by the coronavirus ourselves. So we learned many things from this crisis, and I hope that today's presentation will help us to tackle any future crisis with uh, some kind of leadership skills. And we will see you again tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Bangladesh Standard Time. See you. Goodbye. Good night. Stay well.